Selamat datang ke episod 3 ulasan bayangan bersendirian berhad untuk kamu semua. Itu for untuk orang yang tak pandai main gitar, especially because the gitar tak cukup string. Hello semua, welcome to episode 3 of Putar Belit, where we review music that is local and we talk about it like an overthinker. Nama saya Zim Ahmadi, saya peminat muzik tegar, budak baru belajar. Hari ini kami akan mengulas album Bayangan berjudul Bersendirian Berhad. Bayangan is the moniker ataupun nama samaran bagi seorang insan yang bernama Fikri Fadzil. Fikri Fadzil is more known to the scene, the indie scene, as the curator of the Wknd Sessions. Kalau kamu adalah seorang peminat muzik tegar seperti saya, kamu semua mesti pernah nampak video-video Wknd Session di mana mereka menginvite artis-artis indie untuk perform seperti Payung Teduh, dan juga artis-artis lokal seperti Ramayan. And the Wknd Sessions has been very significant to the indie scene for a long time, but now the curator of that session is releasing music of his own under the samaran Bayangan. Bayangan ni sebenarnya is actually a wordplay. Firstly, it's a wordplay for shadow. It's a double meaning word referring to actual bayangan yang menggambarkan mood album itu sendiri, which is very suram, kadang-kadang sedikit pesimistik, ada unsur-unsur melankoli, unsur-unsur kesepian. At the same time, it also means imagination and illusion. Bayangan as in terbayang, angan-angan. Because dalam album Bersendirian Berhad ini bukan semuanya suram, dan juga ada lagu yang sedikit romantis ataupun borderline jiwang juga sebenarnya. The genre that is often attributed to this album is the word neo-folk ataupun bahasa Melayunya ialah folk baru. Jadi, apakah itu neo-folk? So, neo-folk adalah satu genre yang istilahnya mula muncul pada dekad ke-80-an, 1980-an, di mana artis-artis yang hanya berbekalkan gitar ini mula dipengaruhi oleh band-band post-punk seperti Public Image Limited ataupun art rock macam The Velvet Underground, sebab mereka fikirkan yang kalau folk boleh jadi bermakna dan signifikan walaupun penyanyinya tak pandai nyanyi ataupun muziknya suram, which is something that Fikri Fadzil or Bayangan brings to the table because he uses very minimal instruments. Kebanyakan daripada muzik-muzik folk yang timbul daripada zaman 80-an sangat suram dan pesimis, iaitu ada orang gelarkan yang neo-folk ni sangat apocalyptic, which is lagu-lagu yang dinyanyikan usually are songs that are they don't predict the future in a good way. Diorang rasakan dunia ni dah nak kiamat dah, manusia ni sudah hilang jati diri, sudah hilang belas kasihan, jadi kita nyanyilah pasal kemunduran tamadun, that kind of stuff. It's very bleak. So that kind of sound and theme also carries on with Bayangan's Bersendirian Berhad, because Bersendirian Berhad is about so many things, from nostalgia, loneliness, keburukannya, kemodenan, apa yang kita hilang sebagai manusia dan tamadun dalam proses pembangunan, seperti hubungan manusia yang bermakna ataupun rasa kekeluargaan. So all these things are depicted in one way or another through the Bersendirian Berhad album. And that's the origin of the term neo-folk. But I want to talk specifically about Bersendirian Berhad. So let's talk about the album. Right. So let's talk about Bersendirian Berhad itself. So, Bersendirian Berhad, a lot of the songs there are actually are made spontaneously, in the sense that Fikri Fadzil would come up with an idea and just pick up his guitar and try to form the words together as completely as possible. So ada unsur-unsur yang sangat organik dan spontan dalam musiknya. Tapi dari segi engineering, it is not just his guitar. Kalau kau dengar album Bersendirian Berhad daripada first song to last song, you would hear that even though his guitar is his main weapon, dia ada unsur-unsur reverb, ada percussion yang membawakan bunyi industrial atau machinery-esque kind of sound. So there is a lot of effort in creating an environment of a city or a crowded highway. So this is the album artwork. This is Bersendirian Berhad, and as you can see here, it's a photograph. Yeah, but it is made fancier by Blank Malaysia, who is a pop art artist, it's a real artist that makes this picture fancier. But initially, it is a photograph. So the photograph itself is taken by Adnan, and the photograph is actually a picture of a cremation service in Bali. So cremation adalah satu upacara upacara kematian di mana the mayat is burned, right? So the picture itself is meant to show like death, like how death is an inevitable part of life, and that's also a kind of theme. Bayangan has this kind of aura where even if they are singing about sad things, lagu-lagu tersebut juga ada unsur-unsur yang lebih romantis yang mengangkatkan the importance of sadness in a person's life. Like, sadness is not something that you should avoid. It should be something that you embrace and you learn from. Because if you keep avoiding sadness, it will probably affect your mental health in the future. Now let's talk about the songs. But before I move on towards analyzing each song specifically, I want to talk a little bit about the title of the album, iaitu Bersendirian Berhad. What it means is that Bersendirian Berhad refers to how Bayangan is probably like a one-man company that that seeps into the album. This album is personal as well as a critique on masyarakat secara menyeluruh. But I want to talk about specific songs that interest me. So firstly is in terms of Cagaran Mimpi. So Cagaran Mimpi is the song that is so meaningful to me as a person because the song is about a quarter life crisis yang di mana dia menceritakan tentang seseorang yang baru saja, let's say, graduate dari college and nak fikirkan apa cita-citanya sebenarnya, like do I chase my dreams or do I get a stable job, right? And the Cagaran Mimpi is the one that is the most obviously about that because it's literally dia mencagarkan mimpinya untuk sementara while putting that dream on hold, he can chase that dream later in the future. And that song has lyrical elements like was shaitan, the kind of doubt that people put in you or the devil put in you, that make you ask yourself what it truly means to be you, right? Like, if I stop chasing my dreams and focus more on a stable job, is that good for me as a person, or should I risk everything? And that song encapsulates all of that, merangkumi semua perkara itu dengan sangat cantik. And it's one of my favorite songs in the album. Next is Kuala Lumpur. So Kuala Lumpur is a song that is actually the first single that was released by Bayangan, and it was featured in a House of Vans documentary about a legendary skateboarder in Malaysia namanya Pak Din. So that song has this unsur-unsur cowboy in it, and that is pictured really well in the documentary. It's about ada gambar orang naik motor on the highway with the Kuala Lumpur song play. So it's a perfect song for you to play kalau kau drive on the Karak highway nak balik kampung, because it's a road trip kind of song, but it's also a very introspective, dalam, banyak tersirat kind of song as well. And it's a banger, like it's a great hit. It's one of the most greatest song in the album because it captures both the industrial feeling of some of the other songs, but also the more romantic side of Bayangan at the same time. So Mekar is another one of my favorite songs in album too, because it's also another one where like Bayangan really sings about the song in a more passionate way, with lyrics like Semesta dalam diriku, which is one of my favorite lines in the album. That's great. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Maybe I just love that lyric so much. Semesta dalam diriku, I am the universe. It's pretty cool. So now that I've reviewed like the song specifically, I want to talk about how this album works as a whole. I think consistency tema, this album is solid. Dia ada direction, dia ada tujuan yang ketara yang kita sebagai pendengar boleh dapat lah from the songwriting, dari segi arrangement of the music and the production as well. The song is about a folk singer, I think, in the modern world, right? Kita sekarang ni dalam dunia yang berubah dengan pesat, yang budaya tradisional has trouble catching up with like modern technology and values. This song captures that kind of limbo really well, especially as a Malaysian. Sebabkan semua lagu-lagu dalam album ini dinyanyikan dalam bahasa Melayu, jadi dia lagi personal untuk kita sebagai rakyat Malaysia juga. And it's also not afraid to be industrial, sebab folk of the past is not relevant anymore when we live in a world yang dipenuhi dengan jerebu, pencemaran, kesepian, disertai dengan kemodenan yang sangat laju. And I don't know, man, like this album just makes me feel all of that, especially as a boy living in KL and trying to understand why we are all here, like why we work so hard, what we do it for. And I think that album makes you think about that a bit more. Tapi dari segi positifnya, liriknya walaupun it's sastra, kau boleh fikir macam, tapi aku rasa album ni deep sangat lah. It's also actually very intuitive atau senang diterima. Sebab kalau kau tak faham liriknya juga, kau boleh menjiwai the singing, the guitars, and especially in some of the more passionate songs seperti Cakaran Mimpi, Mekar. So it's not just an album for people who overthink, I feel. However, if you really want to betul-betul amati the album secara penuh, kau kena dengar album ni dengan penuh fokus. Driving with the song playing in the background won't do this album justice. I guess my greatest astonishment about this album, walaupun dari first listen it might just sound like any other folk album, sung by a guy yang nyanyi dalam nada yang sangat monoton, sangat flat. But it's not. It's sung that way, but it keeps itself interesting with different themes and with different levels of production to it. So, what rating do I give it? Because I think Bersendirian Berhad is a really good album with a lot of hits that are memorable and really sticks to the theme of bleakness without being boring. It is an amazing album to listen to and to really dig deep into if you have the time. It is an album that is also relevant for anyone that wants to find something acoustic-esque but not lapo, not cliche atau not terlalu pop. Lagu-lagu yang acoustic-esque tapi mendalami unsur-unsur masyarakat yang masalah-masalah masyarakat yang sangat mendalam. And that song and that album is able to do that so well without putting in too much. Bayangan is also great inspiration, I think, for people who want to make meaningful music, tetapi dari segi technical musicnya mereka tidak mempunyai pengalaman yang luas atau tak cukup berbakat. You can still write meaningful things even if you don't know how to play guitar like Jimi Hendrix. And because of that inspiration and theme, I give Bayangan Bersendirian Berhad 4.5 out of 5. Album Bersendirian Berhad ni on Spotify. We will link the songs in the description box. But comment in the YouTube section about what you feel about music, what you feel about this album. And that's all from me, peminat muzik tegar, budak baru belajar. I'll see you next time.